Welcome back to the Demon Slayer Gaming Channel. We're going to be continuing our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series today. We're going to be taking a look at the Aetherochemical Research Facility. Starting off for the trash pools in here, the repurposer units have no special mechanics you'll need to watch out for. You can just pick them up and move along. As you proceed into the next hall, once you start to leave the platform, a wall will come up and 3 more units will come out from the wall. These units also do not have any particular mechanics that you'll need to worry about, so just pick them up and finish them off so that you can proceed on. Proceeding on to the next platform, again a door will open up with 3 units coming out. The droid unit is a ranged unit, so it will mostly stay in its position, so you want to fight around it. It does do a large untelevised circular AoE around you, so try to avoid standing next to your party members. Once you've defeated these 3, then 2 more doors will pop up with 3 units with each one. The Iron Giant unit does have cone AoEs that you'll need to watch out for, and the Claw units do also. Once all of these are dead, then you can continue on. In the next fight, there will be several units that are ranged units, so you'll want to tank next to them. And then the Vanguard will have a few line AoEs that you'll want to avoid, and this should open up the path to the first boss. For Regula, does have a frontal cone AoE, so you'll want to keep him facing away from the party. He will occasionally stun you and then do a large tank buster type ability on you that will just need to be healed through. Every phase that he switches, he will spawn turrets that need to be killed. If they're not killed within time, then they will explode, dealing party-wide damage. There are 2 different types of turrets. Ones that lock onto a singular person, and whoever is within their line will be the person that is shot, so you can stand in the line and take the hits for your party member. And then there are ones that will shoot out large circular AoEs. Just whenever these turrets spawn, make sure to finish them off. During the times that the turrets are up, Regula will be around the outside of the room firing off line AoEs that are very easily dodgeable. When he dashes back to the center of the room, he will do a large AoE that the safe zone is behind him. So you'll want to reposition quickly to get behind the boss. For the trash pools in the next area, the biomasses have no particular abilities you'll need to worry about. Just pick them up and AoE them down. When you proceed up onto the next platform, the bioculture node will be in the center of the room. As soon as you attack it, around the outside of the room, all of the bio weapons will start to come out of the different pods, so you'll just let them come to you and then pick them all up and AoE them down. The node will continuously deal AoEs while it is alive, and each of the ads has their own cone AoEs or circular AoEs that you'll want to watch out for, so there'll be lots of AoEs that are going on at this time. You'll proceed up to the next platform and repeat this process. attacking the node first, which will, after a bit of time, will release a few more units that will come out and have their own individual AoEs. AoE these down, and then go back to killing the node. Once the node gets down to 50% health, it'll spawn even more ads that you'll want to pick up. Try not to stand in the black pools. For the second boss, he has several different phases that he'll transition between. Starting off in the Sphinx phase, he has Riddle of the Sphinx, which is easily dodged circle AoE that he'll do it on a random party member. And he occasionally does a unmarked cone AoE on the tank, so you'll want to position yourself away from the party. When he turns into the Cobra, he'll do a large tank buster that will just need to be healed through. When he turns into the Naga, does a petrification gaze that will stun you for 10 seconds if you are looking at the boss when it goes off. So when you see the eye on the boss, you'll want to turn away. And he also does Circle of Flames, which is an instant cast AoE on a few of your party members that you'll want to kind of spread out for. And then when he goes into the mech form, he does ballistic missiles on a particular party member that you'll want to group up for to split the damage. And then gaseous bomb is another AoE that will be targeted at a random party member. In the next area, you will activate the lift terminal, and then you'll have to fight a few units as you are proceeding down into the next area. The drones will launch line AoEs across the platform, and the Dreadnought does a large cone AoE. The drones do not move, so those can easily be picked up and killed by the rest of your party. The Dreadnought you will want to pick up as the tank and face them away from the rest of the party so that the cone is being forced off the side of the platform. The units in the next area are mostly casters, so you'll want to pick them up and group them together, and you can kick them to try and interrupt their casting. Interject. If you can, interject the drain ability. Your healer or spellcaster will be very appreciative to save their mana. For the Shabtis that come out of the testing tubes in the next area, they do large line AoEs that you'll want to avoid, and then some cone AoEs also. So keep them facing away from the party. They will turn to random party members when they're doing the line AoEs though, so that's unavoidable. You'll activate the lift terminal to go down to the next area. For this area, you'll pick up the 3 human units. The first test tube will open up once the first unit is dead, and then the other 2 will open up once the first Shabti is dead. This allows you to activate the lift terminal to go to the final boss. Now the final boss is a 2-phase fight with quite a few mechanics in both phases, so we'll try and cover all of them as best we can, but in general avoid the AoEs as best as you can and focus certain parts of the fight and you should be okay.
the champion of Hydaelyn.
Tell me, why do you despise the primals so? They are the embodiment of mortal will, of mortal desire. Plainly, you desire a foe to despise, and 'tis well that you do, for it is from the vortex of ceaseless conflict that Lord Zodiark shall be reborn.
Through the joining, the world shall become whole again. Then all shall be as once it was, as it should ever have remained.
For the glory of Lord Zodiark.
Your meddling ends here and now, warrior of light.
The fight will start off with 2 separate bosses that will alternate being active for the party to fight. Whichever one is not active will be on the side of the arena casting End of Days, which is a line AoE that you'll just need to avoid. The one who is active will be casting Dark Orb on the tank, which is just a single target attack. They will occasionally cast Sea of Pitch, which puts a dot on you while you stand inside of the purple circles. Anytime that the blue spheres and red spheres spawn around the room, you'll want to move in to avoid being frozen by the ice spheres, and then out to avoid the damage from the fire spheres. And then during the second phase, you'll want to move into the open area around the ice spheres, and then into the open areas around these fire spheres. After this phase, the bosses should switch. When Lahabria comes out, a little ways into the fight, he will freeze the ground on the platform, and it will work much like the Demon Book fight in the Great Google Library, where wherever you move when the ground is frozen, then you will slide a set distance. During the time that the ground is frozen, there will be AoEs being thrown at you that you'll need to slide around to avoid. Since you can't control how far you slide, you do want to try to avoid moving at all if possible. So only slide if you're in an AoE, otherwise just stand still and fight the boss.
Such strength, it defies all reason.
No, I will not be bested by the likes of them. Lahabrea, it is time.
Very well. Let us show these mortals the true power of the Echo. The power to break down the barriers of existence.
I am become you.
And we are become one.
After you get both bosses down to about 30% HP, they will fuse together into the Ascian Prime. Height of Chaos is a single target tank buster on you. The Ancient Eruption is large circular AoEs that you'll just want to avoid. Shadow Flare is a party-wide damaging AoE that cannot be avoided and just needs to be healed through. When he runs to the middle of the room and summons the Blizzard Sphere and Fire Sphere, you will want to focus down the Blizzard Sphere. Any of the spheres that reach him will do different things. The Blizzard one will freeze the entire party, and the Fire one will deal damage. As you can't do anything when you're frozen, it's higher priority to kill the one that will freeze the party. When you cast Ancient Circle, there will be 2 large donut AoEs around the room, around certain party members, that you will need to stack up to get the donuts to stack on top of each other to completely avoid the AoEs. When you cast Universal Manipulation, you will need to jump into one of the purple portals around the outside of the room to avoid all the debuffs. Entropic Flame has 3 line AoEs that will go onto different party members that will want to just avoid the line AoEs. He does spawn the purple portals around the room quite a bit before casting Universal Manipulation, so you will want to wait before jumping into them, as you'll take continuous damage while inside of them. But it does take a few seconds for the portal to actually activate once you get into it, so you need to make sure that you're not waiting too long to get into the portal so that you end up being affected by the debuffs. At around 30% HP, he spawns Chaos Spheres, which will be orbs that are tethered to different party members. If they collide with the party member they are tethered to, then they deal damage and apply a debuff. The debuff can be avoided by a different party member running into the orb instead of the person it is tethered to, so you'll just want to run into other people's orbs and avoid your own. But that should be it for the Aetherochemical Research Facility. I hope this helped everyone out. If it did, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one.